Just a heads up for everybody, this episode is going to feature some heavy topics like loss of loved ones, suicide, and depression. Viewer discretion is advised. In 2019, what started out as a simple EP concept became consuming in my mind and was giving me anxiety attacks all the time. I was thinking I was going to lose my family in a house fire. So I wrote an album about it. This is a story of weaving fire. What's up, everybody? My name is Ben Vasco, but I do music under the name Adoremus. I'm a husband, a father, and I own my own tile and remodeling company, of all things. If you haven't seen my video on Consumed, I would recommend you watch that. It'll give a little bit of backstory as to some of the things I'm going to reference in this video. We begin right where that left off. So, that released in the December of 2018. Around that same time, I accumulated 2 band members, a keyboardist and a bassist / guitarist. That winter, we did a show or 2 together. In that time, I was discerning between a couple different things for work. I had found out I was going to have my second child that November. I wanted to, shift careers to be able to support the family better. So it was the choice between a coding job and taking a music and liturgy job at a local Catholic parish. I ended up going with I was offered both of them, but I ended up going with the church job simply for the fact of there was like 20 people involved in the interview process. It was an insane amount of people. And I was like, surely with this many people involved, they're praying and discerning about this and making decisions. If they come to the decision that it's me, then yes, the answer is yes, whatever the pay is. So I get into that. Admittedly, I'm floundering at it. Definitely was kind of I was moving in the direction of the Lord, but I was kind of prideful in my head. I was not super knowledgeable about things. Also, I just wasn't that great at piano, and they really wanted someone to play piano. During all that, we write a song before I get that job, and then we start writing some music. While I have that job, I'm dealing with all the mental stress of that. I got a child on the way. I come up with this EP concept of like, oh, hey, what if we do an EP about a man like he's a man of God and he serves them and stuff, and then he loses all his family in a house fire, and then dealing with the aftermath, and he has a reconciliation with the Lord. Well, lo and behold, I started becoming obsessed with that concept, and it percolated into my thoughts, and I literally thought I had this immense fear of loss. I was going to lose my family in a tragic accident, house fire, or something. Had to get it off my chest, and I was like, yo, my dudes, we gotta write about this. This is turning into an EP and then turn into an album. They're like, yeah, okay. So we're using the practice space at church. Lo and behold, 3 months later, I get let go because I'm not good enough at piano, which is completely valid. At the time, though, I was like, I'm very thankful for it now. But at the time, though, I was devastated. Shook my faith foundations to the core. And it was like crazy perfect storm of events, or more like a terrible storm, because, one of the other members went through, a divorce that summer, and then had a mental breakdown and left their job, dealing with just heavy mental illness there. Another one was dealing with just family issues and coping with that, and they left their job as well. And so there's, that fall, we all had this perfect sort of storm of like, all right, we're gonna lock in, we're gonna write this album, we're gonna record it with one of our friends, Zayla Carter, at Ball State University in Indiana. She was a student there at the time. We did that. We tracked everything in 3 days. She ended up mixing and mastering it for us. Very DIY vibe the entire way. We're working on that, and then lockdown happens in 2020, and we release it in the midst of that. But we got some beautiful feedback. from some other people in the scene about them helping them get through at the time, and the Lord worked his way with that album. We ended up dedicating the album to 3 people that passed away in that year prior. But yeah, we created such an interesting work of Weaving Fire, and the Lord has had his hand through it somehow. Before I continue further, the concept of the album really is just like acknowledging everything going on with the house fire scenario, but then I go down the rabbit hole of what would happen if I did lose my family in the house fire, and so that's where it goes from there. So the tracks we got are Listening, Weaving Fire, You Have Not Yet Known Suffering, In Good Hands, Despite My Best Efforts, Hopes, I'm Always Speaking But Never Hearing Heaven, Sleepless Nights, Hide Beneath the Sea, Hold Out for the Sun, See You Later, Refill This Vessel. So listening really is my confrontation with the Lord about all the panic attacks, sort of vision stuff that I'm dealing with. Actually, sort of the opening line is talking about something where I had a dream that some demons, kind of in the art style of Where the Wild Things Are, had me like strapped to, I guess, a dentist's chair, and were torturing me and questioning me about stuff. And they say there a seed was planted, and after that I started having just these anxiety attacks about losing my family. This was after, I was let go, and so I was upset with the Lord, and I'm like, are you listening? Do I have your attention? I awoke to the smell of smoke and felt a burning in my... Weaving Fire actually confronts the sort of the content of the vision itself. Very morbid. My wife and my oldest would, house fire would happen. They would try to go downstairs. The stairs would collapse beneath them. And then the only way out's through a window. So I jump with the youngest, but they didn't survive the fall. So I would then wake up in the hospital. Well, the song is just like, this is a lie. This will never happen. Like, I'm trying to mental my way through it. And the second verse is about just like, no, it's continuing on the path of just like assuring, just like my wife even, like, no, even if it did happen, we would make it out alive.
Hey love, I'm just heading out now. I'm gonna stop at the store and the bank before
Then we get to You Have Not Yet Known Suffering. Now, while I haven't experienced close family loss yet, I have experienced loss of friends, people I know. I've lost a friend to suicide. And it's dealing with the track is kind of like the drums is like representing like the pain and the grief, just pounding away and hurting over what seems like just a mundane phone call. It's the when you miss somebody, it's just like the little random things that gets you. Just something as simple as just like my wife letting me know, like, hey, I'm just stop the store in the bank and bringing the girls home. It was like I would miss that. And suffering focuses on like, all right, I woke up in the hospital. No, my worries came true. And the realization that I'm the survivor, and I'm like, I shouldn't be the one that survived. I know in that situation, at the time, I certainly would have been like, yeah, I should not be the one. And wrestling that, like, why God, why did this happen? Why me? It also wrestles with the fact that, like, suffering, just in general. There's so much suffering in the world. Why does it happen? The first one is like Jesus himself talks about this. Somebody asked Jesus, like, hey, who is born blind? Like, who sinned, him or his parents? And he said, neither. Just that the glory of God may be seen through him. So sometimes suffering is allowed to glorify God and and how he redeems situations and people. Some of it is just allowing free will to happen. Like you know, I have my children. If I controlled every single little aspect of their life, that's not love. That's just complete control. So you, even if it hurts to let them do so, and they'll hurt others in the process, you you allow them to freely choose. Sometimes just the Lord allows just the consequences of our own actions because of that free will. But I don't think the Lord does not enjoy suffering whatsoever. That's what the song talks about. Like you don't want this to happen. Your heart breaks with me in the suffering. But now I know the depths of suffering. I never knew it before, but now that I've experienced personal loss, now I know what it actually means to suffer. The next song is a reprieve. It's called "In Good Hands." This one is a little specifically Catholic. I won't go into super much like the theology on this, but I asked my wife to write a letter to me, like she and the girls passed away, what would she say to me? And she envisioned herself in purgatory, just like being cleansed of her attachment to sin. The girls being in heaven, praising before God and the throne. And she's like, I'm alone, but I'm not alone. I know the suffering of aloneness, but knows where the destination will be. And she can in this particular interpretation, she can see heaven at a distance and know where the girls are. And basically, it's also just like prayer for me, like, and a message to me, like, waiting and watching you become the man you wanted to be when you could still hold me. I'll be waiting and watching you overcome this heartbreak that you feel. I promise you'll heal. I feel like a lot of us just need to hear that. We will make it through whatever pain we're facing or suffering or season. We still can become the people that we want to be, the people that God has created us to be saints. And the song title comes from the bridge, like, there's no need to worry because we're in good hands now. We're with the Lord. Well, what better hands could we be in? So we go back into the mix of just the pit, the depths, darkness, with despite my best efforts. This one really is just about the all-consuming nature of depression. I've experienced it several points in my life, mostly with like a loss of identity sort of part of me. I was going through this a lot with losing the church job because I thought I lost my purpose, part of who I was. And so you're sitting there trapped in your own mind. You can't bring yourself to do anything. And so me in this scenario, I'm just replaying over and over, like, despite my best efforts, like I couldn't do anything. There's nothing I could do to save you. Like, I need you back to end all this is going on. Yet at the end is a moment of hope. From the ashes of my heart, a new forest will start. It's the idea of, like, forest fires are absolutely devastating, but with it creates so much more new life that wouldn't have been possible had the fire not occurred. And then the next song we go into is Hopes. Hopes is a lot of my own personal sort of outlook at the time bleeding into this one, rather than just hypothetical. It really did come about from, I have a propensity for getting lucky, but in a whole bunch of non-important ways. Stuff that doesn't really mean anything in the long run. Or just things just not working out my way in general. Like, and just dealing with the pain of getting my hopes up. It's like, I got my hopes up, I had started this family and stuff, and it comes crashing down. That's really the focus in the song. Like, and it's also like, will I let someone else in to help carry the burden? to give my heart to again, potentially. But as it progresses, it is a progression of the emotions. Like, no, I'll try. I will try my best to keep my hopes up. And I do that now. Like, I will get my hopes up for things. Because, like, if you keep your bar set so low, yeah, you may not be disappointed by anything, but you will not have the highest highs. Just the ceiling, just in the middle, is no way to live. I'm always speaking but never hearing heaven. Honest to goodness, I can't remember which one came first, listening or hearing heaven. Oddly enough, I feel like hearing heaven came first. Hearing heaven is almost like a response to listening. The Lord speaking to me in his divinely condescending way, the way that only he can. The way he speaks to Job, in that is all that needs to be said. It's based off like a vision encounter with the Lord that happened in the bathroom of my old apartment, oddly enough. I was just taken, I think it's like really late at night, and I was staring into the mirror and the Lord spoke to me, and I was just writing all of this down in like my journal or whatever. And I maybe changed some things slightly to, fit the meter. Just the song that other members had brought forward in practice, and I was like, hey, I think I have some words for this, and I just sort of put it over the music. It's really funny. It's like, would you like to take this down with pen on paper? Are you hearing heaven now? Change your perception. If it isn't all you want, take yourself elsewhere. Are you hearing heaven now? Do you even care? I'm gonna be honest, I was not living in a state of grace at this time. I was just very much just like, I had a Christian position, but I was not living the life really at all. Am I actually hearing the voice of God? Do I even care that I am? But then he asked me a question that really pierces my heart nowadays. Are you going to pull them out? Pull them out, my friend. Are you going to pull them out in the end? Who am I pulling out? Who is the Lord telling me to pull out? Next verse. Dip your toe into the thorns. So like I know full well, like I'm going to get hurt in the process. Cry out for help. Once the blood begins to flow, will you blame yourself? I find that I have a tendency to blame other situations and other people for things not working out. Most of the time it's my own fault. At the time I wasn't willing to admit it. Be invincible, be in selfishness, be inside your own mind. I was just obsessed with how people saw me, that I couldn't do anything wrong. Everything I did was for my own benefit. Are you going to pull them out? Who am I pulling out, Lord? The bridge reveals it. Do you love your friends? Do you have any at all? Do you have your plans? Do you have a sense of God? Oh, I'm supposed to have the Lord act through me to help save my friends, to bring them to the Lord. I was not doing that at all. At least in retrospect, it doesn't look like that. See, I don't think I really was. Are you hearing me now? You don't want to speak for me, but I'm speaking now. Are you listening? Do I have your attention? Yeah, he's responding directly to listening. Are you going to pull them out? Pull them out, my friend. He still refers to me as friend. No greater love than this, than to lay down your life for one's friends. Are you going to pull them out, or will you stay asleep? Bro, if that isn't conviction, I don't know what is. So, it's something that I've really been thinking about a lot and reflecting on a lot recently. So really, in the grand scheme of the album, it doesn't make as much sense, but, the way I see it, though, it's both a call, a wake-up in real life, as well as in this alternate sort of timeline thing. Like, just you need to get outside of yourself. You need to stop wallowing in your own self-pity. And you need to start healing so you can help other people. when I was in Boy Scouts growing up. The first rule of first aid is basically essentially make sure you're fine, and then you can help somebody else. It's really hard to help somebody else if you're bleeding all over them. So, which takes us into the Sleepless Nights interlude, which is a bop. Turns out that semester of jazz drumming really helped out in that one. And then we have Hide Beneath the Sea, which is which makes a lot of references to Psalm 139. When I say, could I hide beneath the sea? Like, basically, like, can I escape this? It really is a song of, like, wrestling with, like, wanting to commit suicide to escape sort of thing. You know, like, we were way ahead of pace, but I guess I'm back on track now. We got married at 20... I was 22, my wife was 21. And then we immediately started having kids. Like, we were way ahead of pace of a bunch of people in our generation. It's like, well, I guess I'm back on track now. So, like, I'm on the same trajectory as most other people. We were climbing up the mountain, but I guess I've fallen back down. Just was building this life, and it's gone. Can I hide beneath the sea if it meant that I have peace? Like David says in Psalm 139. Essentially, he says, there is no place I can go where you will not be. It's a reminder that in the midst of whatever suffering you face in your life, the Lord is present with you. He's there to cry with you, to mourn with you, and to strengthen you, and to redeem the situation. He is with you. Then the track after that is Hold Out for the Sun. This was actually one we wrote very beginning of 2019. First song we wrote together. So we all cared very deeply about this. It's just basically a suicide prevention song. I had someone in mind when I did write it. It fit so perfectly in the flow of the album. Just like, no matter what the situation you're living through right now, you hold out for the sun, because the sun will illuminate what's in front of you, and what will come just be so good, and life is just so better beyond that moment of despair. See You Later is based off of quotes from the movie John Q, whereas a son says, it's not goodbye, it's see you later. And that really is just the definition of the Christian hope. Like, the faithful loved ones pass away. It's not goodbye, it's see you later. We pray that we'll see all each other again in eternal life. And so it's just my wife reiterating that. And then finally, the last track is Refill This Vessel. It's a personal favorite track of mine. You know, it's very applicable to both the album and the catharsis of that, and what I was going through in my own life at the time. It's just the Lord was like, all right, let's get you healed on this. Let's help you move through this. It's a song of surrender and letting the Lord fill you again, just with his presence and his life. This line is just like, oh, you have your ways of turning my anger to love. You have your ways of mending a broken heart. You have your ways of bringing light from dark. And you have your ways of building us up from dust. There's loss, but there's also life and love. There's thirst, but you hold the cup. You're the reason I'm still holding on. Yeah, without the Lord, I don't know where I'd be today. You know, he has taken such a devastating situation, he has redeemed it 1,000-fold. My faith would not be as good as it is today if he had not been there through that situation. If I had not gone through that situation, my faith would not be where it is today. How I'm able to provide for my family would not be there today. Just so many blessings. The Lord redeems all things. And it's just, I just love it when it's refill this vessel, rebuild this home, refill my heart, your kingdom come. Your will, not mine. Work through me, your will, not mine. such a good way to end the album. You know, it's just like solemn to disco and to just full out party at the end. You know, it's just like, or a lot of David's psalms where he's just talking about all just the junk happening in his life, but at the end he's just praising the Lord, and there's hope at the end of it. Thank you so much for staying and watching my story about weaving fire. The next video I'm going to make is going to basically be covering the period of time between after weaving fire to basically today. So that period of time called the singles. I hope you catch that one when that comes out. I love you. It is good that you exist. I hope to see you later. God bless.